And of course, this is Daybreak Live on Dominion Television.
Right. Please stay with us. Good morning, Samson.
Good morning, Oluwayemi Adelaku. Good to be back here. It's a fresh Monday morning, and of course, the headlines are really fresh.
They're really fresh.
And of course, the people out there, they are really expecting so much this morning. But most importantly...
And it rained convention over the weekend.
Right. The APC had theirs, and then the PDP, the list of the leadership of both parties are now out. Let's see what the ADC will do. Maybe the Labour Party and NDC, or what's that party?
Exactly, NDC.
let's see what will happen with those parties too. But then, this certainly means two things for the People's Democratic Party.
Right.
It's either the way forward or the final nail that, of course, the last nail that finishes whatever it is that is happening in that party. Maybe this is the final ship of destruction that they just got into. But then let's just hope that as things unfold, we'll get, exclusives as regards what's going on in both parties as it stands. But then, yes, Wike has had his own fair share of national convention.
Right, and this time it's not Amala convention.
It's not Amala convention. what should we call that in Abuja?
Really?
Then, basically, let's now talk about the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, he made some assertions. But then, before we talk about it, let's just hear the President himself say it, and then we'll be back and have this conversation.
And it's a symbol of love and commitment to the growth and unity of this country. I thank all of you. Lunch or dinner I don't have. I didn't prepare for it. But what I need to do on your behalf is to announce a special account to be created today from all the salaries that I've earned. The Accountant General to establish an account to fund those men and women who stand on the arms way, who have lost the husband and wives. Create a special funding for them. Regardless of what insurance or what military or the armed forces might have been doing. Let's put hands together to donate specially to that account. Those who might have lost their limbs or arms or hands will be able to give them hope and a better promise for the future. Nigeria will overcome the problem of insecurity. We will invest in armament to defeat the insurgents. We will put it together with you. This type of unity I have not imagined. I thank all of you. I rejoice with you. I rejoice with myself.
All right, welcome back. That was the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, making that statement yesterday. And of course, we must say happy birthday to you, His Excellency. For that was his 74th birthday. But
congratulations.
Then he made that bold assertion. Of course, people have asked questions about how much does he earn and what impact would that have on the lives of wives and family members of military men who lost their lives in battle. I think the most important thing is the intent. People, of course, he has tried it. If we have more people who actually joined this particular movement, I think it will do a whole lot of good. And he also mentioned that he doesn't care what the military has in stock for their personnel, or maybe the police has in stock, but then he wants another account, a trust for the account to be created for that purpose. And talking about how much he earns, the president goes home with 1.1, roughly 1.2 million naira on a monthly basis. Annually, he earns about 14, just slightly over 14 million naira annually. And the figure is statutory pay. That is basic plus regular allowances. Does not cover some other things. His basic monthly salary is 292,000 naira. But then the allowances consolidated is around 878,000 naira per month. That multiplied by 12 gives us roughly 14 million naira, or just a little over 14 million naira on a monthly basis. So, on a yearly basis. So, that for me is a good start. Okay, and this is not the first time. I think this is the first time that we are having a president donate openly what he earns in office to a particular cause. And this, for me, is a very good cause. Do not forget that during the 65th birthday of the First Lady, that is Senator Tinubu, she also did something that that caught people by surprise. She said, I don't want your gifts. And I don't want your donations. What you can do for me is to contribute to a particular cause. I think that was for the completion of the National Library in Abuja. Yeah. And at that time, over 20 billion naira was raised. And eventually, it went into the excess of 25 billion naira. And I think the project is still ongoing as of now. So, we have seen precedents. We have also seen precedents. Yes, you might not like this person's face. You might not really like some of his policies because it affects the microeconomy. And yes, these things do happen. But the most important thing is, I think when we take some steps, it is just normal for us to say, yes, this is a fantastic step towards a good cause.
Yeah, I think you're very spot on. And then the major problem that we have as a country in Nigeria, I think, is insecurity. Right. And of course, the people who ensure that we achieve security are these guys. And then he coming out to say that he wants to donate his entire salary. We don't know whether that will continue for as long as it stays in power.
At least till this very moment,
he's donating all. I think it is something to actually applaud, really, because I mean, it's not so many persons can do that. And then I'm hearing some Nigerians say, oh, she can change to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If you calculate the amount, from when he has in office till now, it's not up to like 50 million, but then it's something. And then one thing that he did was to call out to others too, the governors, the local government chairman, his friends, even called out to his friends and well-wishers to say, you can also join this cause to ensure that, we donate to this cause. Because, I mean, at the point, I think when we won AFCON, right. I'm talking about the ladies now, when we won, the federal government announced the reward. And then a particular soldier went online and released a video to say, see the amounts they are trying to give out to these footballers, compared to what we earn as soldiers, to fight and defend the nation. And then he lamented bitterly and complained so much. Even some Nigerians were saying the money is too much for footballers. What about other persons? But at the end of the day, it was the duty of the government, and then they decided what they wanted to give to the footballers. And then speaking about the wife of president, now, any donation that comes from the president or the wife, it will always lead to controversy. People are asking, is it going to be on paper alone? Are they going to pay the money into the account? I remember Peter Obi dropped a comment, and then he started with, I don't know whether he started or ended with, we are finished as a country.
He started with.
Exactly. And then people are wondering, if you want to wish somebody happy birthday, don't go through corners. Just wish the person and move on. But he said, that is the sole duty of the government. That why should it be that the wife of the president have to donate to that cause to ensure that a library is completed? But then she could have decided not to do it, right, and use the money for something else. But she still came out to say, okay, let us use this money to complete the library. And then one more thing, the reason why I think it's a good initiative is because some of the soldiers, right, because of the nature of their job, their wives cannot actually go into serious business, or or maybe because they
get to migrate.
They don't stay at home, so the wives will have to stay back, to take care of the children. And of course, they go through, maybe some of them engage in all these menial jobs. They just sell little things at the house just to ensure that they are doing something. But at the end of the day, we've seen cases of some of these women, when their husband passed, they are left with nothing, almost nothing to take care of the children. So I think it will help this category of people. And one more thing is, there are some soldiers. The reason why I think the reason why some soldiers revolted during the era of army taking over the government is because the young officers complain bitterly about the fact that they are not getting enough. They are not living that life of luxury compared to the senior officers. So I think at this point in time, we need to make room, or let me say allocate certain amount to those junior officers too, because most times they are the ones who go out, they are the forefront of the battle. So I think it's one major thing that we should also look at. And then I think this will also solve the problem of soldiers that were maimed at the battleground. You need to check videos online. There's one particular video I watched last year. This man said, he's been in that state for years, for a particular battle that they went to fight, and then he's not been able to cater for his children. His legs gone, because of. So I think I think we need to do a lot of research so that this money will not just go down the drain. Right. I think there should be a committee on ground, that will ensure and do proper research on the people that really need this money, so that we don't just, even it doesn't matter the number of donation that comes in. If we don't spend it wisely, you will not see the result. So it's a good one. Exactly, it's a good one, but we need to ensure that we spend this money in the right way, and it gets to the people who really needs it.
Well, I think you have made some cogent points, but then I think another problem that might just arise from all of this is the fact that there might be no continuity. It might just be for photo ops. But we've seen it happen before in Nigeria, where some decisions are made, and then if you ask that same question about 5 years later, you get almost nothing as a response. And right now, that the president has made this bold move to make sure that all these things are put in place, the advantages outweighs the disadvantages, right? Because of course you could have said nothing about it, and he also made some promises while speaking with the press, addressing the people, and said, look, we are going to invest in armament, invest in gadgets for the military, and also make sure that all things are put in place, and Hollands will be on deck to make sure that we defeat the monster, which is insecurity in Nigeria. And of course, this will also help. This fund will help where government processes are really slow and things cannot be done, and then this will be an avenue for them to get things done quickly before they go. We all know that when anything that has to do with government anywhere around the world, a lot of bureaucracy you have to go through a lot of channels before some things can be done. That's why in some countries you have lobbyists who help you lobby to make sure that your files are being forwarded, and it's just sad that Nigeria has gone through this phase, and trying to rebuild seems to be more difficult than avoiding it in the first place. But as it stands, if the president can follow through, an account is created, monies are deposited in it. Even if this account, the only problem is that Nigerians might not trust them enough. Of course, because everything that has to do with the government, most people don't have interest in it anymore. But if it were to be in a system where there's transparency in the first place, an account is opened and then the account numbers are pasted, on social media, anywhere, you will see that actually average Nigerians would want to donate to that cause because they know exactly what this means. Some of them have passed through this stage before, and of course they know exactly what it means to have next to nothing to do. But the challenge now is, can we trust the government to follow through and get this thing done? It's a very big question. Let there be transparency in this process. As long as that is there, I think Nigerians will really want to key into this.
Yes, and you're very correct. And of course, as the president called out to the governors and of course the other persons, I think it's a good thing for them to also say, okay, this is what we want to contribute.
I think the president has, really been calling out these governors lately. He has even maybe set the people up against the governors to say, look, ask these people questions. You can't just bring all your problems to me, because some of these problems, they have been catered for through your governors. If any one of them has failed, it doesn't mean I have failed as a president. It means your governor has failed. So hold him responsible. Many a times these governors get away with some of the things they do. You can, at least in some states where there are largely no insecurity, they all get billions of naira as security votes. What exactly are you doing with this? And now when you ask this question, they will say security business is a private business. You don't discuss what you spend these monies on. Yes, we understand, but let it be visible. right? We have seen states where, look at Lagos, for example, from one junction to junction, you see RRS vehicles, Rapid Response Squad. You see their vehicles from junction to junction. You know exactly that these monies are being spent on gadgets for security agencies. They have communication systems that work all around Lagos. What is happening with other states too? Why are you not investing in this matter? If you do invest in security gadgets, automatically it narrows down the problem. You know exactly where to face. But then when you have no intel, you have no gadgets, you have no vehicles, what exactly how do you want to track down criminals, if at all they spring up in your state?
Right. And speaking about security vote, I recall about a few weeks ago, there was a particular story that broke that I think, some huge amount of money was transferred to a particular person in this country, the son of IGP of this country, and then the money was taken from the security vote of that state. And then they said, oh, it's a mistake, oh, we didn't know we sent it to him, and then we'll be able to recharge the money. And Nigerians are saying,
costly mistake is that?
even if I can't see, I'm not going to believe that story, but it depends on whether they've been able to recover it truly or not.
So the money was not mistakenly sent to a certain Habib Ahmed at Ogunpa Market in Ibadan. Right. Was not mistakenly sent to maybe Ismail Babangida in Kano, who is selling sugarcane, but was mistakenly sent to the son of an IG, sitting IG. I mean, cut us some slack.
Honestly, and was taken from the security vote that's supposed to cater for security in the country.
It all aligns. it all aligns because security votes to the son of a security operative. I mean, tell me more. I really want to hear more from you.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And that's why I always say that if they explain Nigeria to you and you understand, it can only mean one thing. This is not your first time. You've been here before. You can help others like us to navigate.
Help us understand.
And so back to the issue of ammunition now. I think a popular politician reported a few weeks ago that some soldiers fled the scene of attack because of lack of ammunition. Because when they saw what those guys were carrying, common sense told them to flee. Because at the end of the day, see, you can have the expertise, but if you don't have the necessary tools, you become, it's counterproductive at the end of the day. So these guys, they are not trained though. We don't know whether they go through any level of training.
How do you as a mechanic visit a scene where you have been told that the car has broken down and you are there? No tool, no screwdriver, no spanner, absolutely nothing. So what would you do? You become how do I put it? You will not be different from the person that owns the car that called you in the first place, because you have nothing to do there. You can't even check anything because you cannot unscrew or screw anything there. So why are you there?
Why are you there? So they fled the scene, and then the man reported that why should that happen? At a point where the people called the soldiers to come and rescue them, but they fled because of, if you see what these people carry. There was a video I watched, and then they showed us how they try to keep their guns in a way that is not so obvious.
In a tank.
Exactly, in a car tank. So it's really a big problem. And then I think investing in ammunition for the soldiers will go a long way to ensure that they can match up in terms of, in terms of maybe strength, in terms of ammunition. So at the end of the day, they can be able to get some result. Because, I mean, if you see what these people carry, let's not depend, solely. There was one time that, when the new defense minister was being screened, he said, we need drones, and then it costs a lot to even get one, compared to getting a lot for the entire country. So I think investment in ammunition is a big one, and of course it's going to go a long way in ensuring that we tackle insecurity, because we need to match up. Beyond expertise, we need the ammunition too, honestly. I think at a point, if they discover that, okay, these people have actually been able to scale up in terms of their ammunition, they want to draw back a little bit to see it appears that these people are doing something different compared to before.
Well, if anything the president said is to go by, he made some promises that they are going to invest in armament, tools for the Nigerian military, drones, guns, to make sure that everything is intact and they can confidently face insurgency in the country. And I think if that is to go by, I think, Soko is coming for the Nigerian military, and they will be able to discharge their duties as necessary. And as important as it is, we should not also shy away from pressing them each time some of they get things done in the bushes. And oftentimes we talk about how many people have died. We are not really talking about times when they have actually won this battle against the insurgency. There used to be a time where Baga, the fish market in Borno State, the Boko Haram flag was hoisted there. And right now, businesses are being done in that part of the country. So we should also praise them for doing the right thing each time they do it, and then implore the government to get them what is necessary, the needed tools to get the job done.
Right, and imagine Borno used to be the hotspot of terrorism compared to Kwara, that was peaceful at the time.
You see,
it's a lot though.
Some people, there will be a different theory for places like Kwara. And, you know, according to what you hear from people, is each time there is some sort of attack on a particular community, in places that are usually of less hotspots when it comes to insecurity in the country, then you ask questions, what exactly is in that community?
That they are after.
That they are after. Is it natural resources? Most of the times if you check, there will be natural resources usually deposited. And you won't come back to your community when you know that death awaits you. Definitely you are
people already fleeing Kwara. They are leaving.
You leave. And then they are there, they do their daily businesses, you know, get these resources and then take them away in trucks and the likes.
But what about people who cannot leave Kwara? It doesn't, their whole life, their entire life is there. Their means of livelihood is in Kwara. So if they leave, they have nowhere to go.
Yeah, me. What is the essence of that life you have there that you will not live to see the next morning?
It's
right?
A lot.
So the most important thing is, even if you are fighting for a particular goal, okay, stay alive to witness how you achieve it. As long as you are still alive, a lot can be done. But if you are no longer there, I mean, what do you say about people, even if normalcy returns to that part of the country? So what will you say about people who actually lost their lives to this cause, who were there and then they were attacked unannounced and they lost their lives?
Even
what happened to them?
Exactly, what happens to them?
And some people will not just go back to that place
because
again.
Of fear, because of what
fear.
They went through. And
the trauma is still there. So let's just hope that the government does what is necessary. If insurgency now begins to percolate down to the southwest, then there is a problem. So it should be, at least the most important thing to be done in the first place is to stop it where it is, contain it, then solve the problem.
And prepare for future attack, because there's one thing about Kwara. They've attacked Kwara severally. That's one thing they do. When they have interest in a particular state, they don't stop with just one attack. They go back. They will even send letter, you know, in some cases.
What you are witnessing in Kwara happened in Benue. Okay, it started with just one attack, and then another, until the people were tired and some of them had to flee their homes and communities. And that same thing is happening in Kwara. So what exactly is the problem? Why do we have these attacks and then these people leave their communities and nobody is saying anything about it? Don't forget that it also happened in Plateau. It started with just one attack and then one after the other. Niger too. The same thing with that. There's a place in Kaduna too. It started with just one attack and then all of a sudden it became, you know, a sporadic kind of thing that happens often and often. So the problem is these communities that are being attacked. What exactly is the problem there? But it's a fantastic point to leave that topic this morning.